The San Francisco 49ers gaining back a little piece of the NFC West, a huge matchup there with the Seahawks. 49ers victorious, and we are making the rest of our picks for week 6 of the NFL schedule, including some big games with the Lions and Cowboys, and Jayden Daniels goes to Baltimore to face the Ravens, Bills, Jets, Monday Night Football, and a whole lot more coming at you right now.
NFL analyst Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson bring you expert NFL analysis every day in less than 30 minutes. Get an inside look at the NFL on the field and in the front office with elite breakdowns to next-level analysis and in-depth information only for the real NFL fans. This is Peacock and Williamson, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL. Thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Love our everydayers out there and appreciate all the new listeners every week to Peacock and Williamson. And make sure you are subscribed up. We really appreciate it. Helps us out quite a bit. And I see a lot of everydayers, actually, that aren't even subscribed yet. So hit that subscribe button on YouTube or wherever you are listening to this podcast. And today's episode of Peacock and Williamson is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, let's start with the Thursday nighter in the books. We're rolling here into week 6, and it's the 49ers 36-24 over the Seattle Seahawks. And the Niners really taking control of this game early, and unlike their last couple of matchups against the NFC West, they actually held on and didn't blow this lead, even though it looked like into the third quarter they might have an opportunity to send this one away. But no, multiple touchdowns from George Kittle, 2, in fact. Isaac Guerrero seals it late with a long run and a 76-yarder, and the 49ers are victorious, now tied 3-3 with the Seattle Seahawks, and have at least one tiebreaker now as it stands in the NFC, because they've lost all other NFC matchups this year until this one. So this is one they had to have, and they had it, and they look like a much better football team than the Seahawks. Short week on the road Thursday night too, which is never easy.
Yeah, huge. I agree with everything you said. Now you get 10 days to kind of lick your wounds, and Mason got a little banged up here, and every team has injuries at this stage of the game. But really important win. I mean, as you know, the Niners have a very challenging schedule coming up here, and certainly couldn't afford to end up going 0-3 in the division, leading into that. So this is a get-right game for them. I thought Purdy played really well. Very few negative plays from what I remember, just constantly moving the football, pretty good clip of, yards per play. And then, going over to Seattle, their O-line's a real problem. I mean, they can't run the ball right now very well at all. They're not moving any bodies. And I know there weren't a lot of sacks in this game, but Bosa had to have 30 pressures. I mean, they didn't block him once. I mean,
yeah, probably a dozen pressures from Bosa in this game, and he hit Geno Smith a couple of times, and there was only one sack in the game on either side, but that didn't really tell the story of how much pressure there was. And really, the 49ers beat up on the Seahawks on both fronts.
Yeah,
Niners D-line was really good against the Seahawks offensive line, and then on the other side, 49ers offensive line won that battle soundly. As we've seen with the Seahawks, they really lean into 3 wide and throwing the ball. Geno Smith dropped back 52 times. They ran the ball at like a 2-yard clip, and the 49ers were able to run the ball at a 7-yard clip. So that's a huge story of this game, was both lines.
100%. And I'm just pulling it up now because Geno's throwing it too much. I mean, he had 52 attempts in this game, 40 the week before, 56 before that, 34, 44. That's a tough way to live. I mean, whenever the people that lead the weekend attempts usually don't get many wins.
And one more big story here with the 49ers in this game was the rookies that showed up. Talanoa Hufanga was out. So rookie 4th rounder Malik Mustafa is in, starting at safety. Charvarius Ward was out in this game. He's been a guy that's followed DK Metcalf around in these matchups and done a really good job. And so rookie 2nd rounder Bernardo Green has to start, and that's a starter's amount of reps when you're playing against the Seahawks, even if you're the number 3 corner, because Deommodore Lenoir moves inside into nickel, and they're 3 wide all day long. And then Isaac Guerrero, who I still question his vision as a pure runner, but he's big and fast. And there was a hole late in the game, and he hit it, and he went 76 yards and kind of did a little slide. He actually he tweeted after the game. He's like, "Hey, Madden, don't turn down my speed ratings. I had to take one for the team and not." That's tough for a guy, a rookie getting his first NFL touchdown, a 76-yarder, prime time. And he takes a little slide inside the 5-yard line. So good on Isaac Guerrero. But the rookie class showing up, and we haven't even seen their first round pick yet. By the way, Dominic Pooney, their third rounder, has been a stud for them starting at right guard all year long. So phenomenal rookie class for the 49ers showing up right now.
I thought you might not mention Pooney because you're so used to him, and he's been a fixture, and he's been one of the best rookie offensive linemen in the league. I mean, he has been a real find at right guard. That's a great pickup for them.
Yeah, 6-year senior. He played a lot of football, and even though he didn't really play right guard in college, he played guard, he played tackle, and he's just stepped in and looked like a veteran. So maybe there's something to these guys that play a lot of college football and getting them in, and they look like they're ready to play early in their careers.
Yeah. So the Niners are in a good spot. Seattle's not out of it, but I have some questions.
I have questions. We already kind of questioned Seattle. I don't want to say they're fraudulent right now, but they haven't beaten anybody good.
No, they haven't. They started off hot, and some defensive injuries too haven't helped. But I mean, again, everybody's dealing with something.
Right. And when they get to full strength, we'll be able to evaluate them better, and we'll see what happens with the Niners Seahawks later on in the season. But that next matchup might be the thing that decides the NFC West. And right now, the 49ers, I talk about how they lost a bunch of NFC games already. They need to just go win it and win the division and not have to worry about tiebreakers. So that's the mode that the Niners are in. And by the way, they get the Kansas City Chiefs next week, so that'll be a huge one. And the Chiefs are, I mean, it's nice for the Niners to have a mini bye. The Chiefs have an actual bye, though, before that game. The Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Rams, and let's see, Chiefs, Dolphins, Rams, Vikings are all off this week. So by the way, the two unbeatens will remain unbeaten through week 6 as well in the Chiefs and the Vikings. And by the way, I misspoke earlier this week, Matt. I said the Dolphins would have an opportunity to win this week and then have a 3-way tie if the Jets beat the Bills on Monday night. But I misread the schedule, and it's the bye week right now for the Miami Dolphins. But it's a good time for a bye for the Dolphins anyway, because they have their own injuries that they're trying to figure out there.
And I think it's only 2 more games that Tua is definitely out, so
yes,
maybe they get him back and get back on track. But
I think it is the Bills. Week 8 is the first game he's eligible to come back from IR.
Okay. Well, they could certainly use that.
We will talk Monday nighter. The New York Jets hosting the Buffalo Bills with a new head coach there and a whole lot more from the picks here in the week 6 schedule. But we're going to go start in the NFC, Matt, and go. Oh, by the way, you know what? Let's remind everybody from our 6-pack, because we already made some picks this week in our 6-pack. And I like taking the points with Seattle. That did not turn out. We both took the points with Seattle at home in a short week, and the 49ers blew that one up. We both have the early London game, Jacksonville getting 2.5 points against the Chicago Bears. We both have the Houston Texans and giving up 7 points at the New England Patriots. The Cleveland Browns, I took Cleveland. You took Philly -9 in week 6. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we both given up 3.5 points, and it is Spencer Rattler, and we thought it might have been Rattler when we previewed this game. It's now official. Spencer Rattler is going to start for the Saints with Derek Carr out there. And Tampa favored by 3.5 when we made that pick, and I don't know how much that might have changed since then. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, we both took Pittsburgh and giving up 3 points on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders. So that was our 6-pack of picks. You can go back and listen to Wednesday's show if you want to hear more about our reasonings, why we took those picks and made those picks for those games. We're both 0-1 right now. We're digging a hole for ourselves, Matt, but we're going to dig out.
I haven't been so great all year.
There's some listeners keeping track. I didn't want to mention anything. I'm hovering just over 500.
I'm not.
And you're a hair below that. But that's right. We're coming back this week, and it starts with the Arizona Cardinals at the Green Bay Packers. The 2-3 cards at the 3-2 pack. Packers favored by 5 at home.
Yeah, I like the home team here. I feel like Love's getting his feet under them. They got a lot of weapons. It looks like a couple of those guys are coming back. That doesn't really even change my mind. I just think that they, Tucker Kraft and these guys are all playing well. I just keep coming back to the Cardinals defense, and I can't believe that they keep their head above water as well as they do. I mean, they really don't have more than 2 or 3 good players on defense. I mean, they have a lot of backups on that side of the ball. And maybe Kyler and those guys can score a fair amount. But in Green Bay, I like the Pack.
I love the Pack here. 5 points is a lot, but I do think the Packers should be 7 points better than the Arizona Cardinals. You mentioned it. The Cardinals just don't have a defense that's up to snuff right now. And they might score a few points, but Jordan Love, came back last week. He's got his legs under him now, and he's probably going to be a lot better here at home this week. Christian Watson closer to coming back. Romeo Dobbs is also no longer suspended, so they've got that somewhat figured out, I think, there for the Packers. So they should have a decent complement of weapons there for Jordan Love. And I definitely like the Packers here in week 6.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked that it's not more than that. It's not 7-ish, 7.5, something like that.
The Cardinals are chippy. The Cardinals are a chippy team. They just came off of a big win. So I think they might be a team that is able to cover some of these, but I mean, it's just hard to bet on them with that defense right now. And if you're not getting like a touchdown, then on the road, Green Bay, I got to go Packers. They're just a better football team, top to bottom.
I have a lot of respect for the Cardinals and their coaching staff and maximizing their talent and all that. They just don't have a lot of talent.
All right, we got some good ones coming up. A division battle with the Colts and the Titans. We've got the Monday Nighter that we mentioned, been teasing that one, and the Commanders at Ravens, which is a really fun game as well. Making picks for all of it next. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson is sponsored by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are available now for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhoodgold.com. Robinhood.com/gold. That is robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. And how about winning up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks? And when you sign up today, you get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win on that $5 play to get the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks puts its members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes at Prize Picks. And Prize Picks is the only place where you get that injury insurance. If a player goes down in the first half, doesn't come back in the second half, you're still in play. So go to prizepicks.com or download the app and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, moving on to the Indianapolis Colts at the
Super quick, BP. I want to defend myself a little because we're forced to pick all the games on here. Not forced, we choose to, and no one's holding our hand to the fire or anything. But I will say, in my personal account, I am up for the year. So the ones I actually choose to put my hard-earned podcasting money on have been good. So maybe the listener should be like, oh, he feels really strongly about that one. I might lean that way, but not the ones I'm like, I'll take the Bears.
We do often reference we have to make picks for all the games, but there's a lot where it's like I would not touch this one, but we can't sit on the fence. We got to make a pick. And
got to make a pick.
This could be one of those. How about the Indiana?
Real quick, I tell a quick story from back in the day when podcasts were new. There was the Fantasy Football Focus on ESPN, Matthew Berry's, and ours was Football Today. And we had a contest going every year who would pick more winners. But it always rubbed me the wrong way because every week we had to pick an upset special and there was something else we had to pick and they didn't. So we often lost because we were playing shorthanded, but that's the way it goes,
And that's why we pick against the spread too, because it's a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
The good team is going to beat the bad team. We don't want to do that. We're going to pick against the spread and it makes it a lot
7-point favorite. Oh, yeah, they're probably should win.
And a lot more fun.
It is.
Although, man, imagine how good my picks would be, Matt, if I only got to pick a few and didn't have to pick the ones I didn't like too.
Right. You're still beating me. Right.
Here we go. Let's go to the Colts and the Titans.
Okay.
And you know what, Matt?
Who's the quarterbacks in this game?
Hold on. Just going back to our picks here.
Okay.
We agree a lot. So that means I'm hitting on all the ones that we don't agree on.
That's a good point.
Right?
Your disagreement percentage is really high.
Yeah. So maybe that's where the listeners need to go. If we disagree, side with Peacock.
Big trend there. Okay. If I go bad this week, I might Costanza it and just take the total opposite on everyone.
And I just want to say, please, people, don't put it on me and don't put your hard-earned money on anything because of me. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, that too.
But this is fun. Here we go. Let's go to the Colts at the Titans. Yeah, quarterback. I don't know. Tennessee's favored at home by 2.5 here. The Tennessee Titans defense is for sure playing better than the Colts defense is. The question is, what about the Colts offense against the Titans defense and vice versa here? That's the 2-3 Colts at the 1-3 Titans.
It's a tough one. I mean, Pittman's out. Taylor's questionable. Don't know if it's Flacco or Richardson. Downs is a little banged up. I would prefer. Actually, is it crazy to say the Colts are better with Flacco and the Titans are better with Rudolph? I don't think that's bonkers.
No. That's not bonkers at all. But the way does it matter for these teams?
Right.
You know what I mean? How are we expecting these to be playoff teams? Is it more important to develop those quarterbacks so Richardson is eventually better than Flacco and Levis is eventually better than Rudolph, or at least you find out if these guys are going to be franchise quarterbacks for you. So I think that's obviously more of the decision. And for the Colts, it looks like it's probably going to be Richardson because he's had that oblique injury. He was limited Wednesday, but was a full participant Thursday. So
okay,
we're not going to sit the young man if he's a full participant. So it sounds like that's more of the trend, and Will Levis is practicing in full. So I'm operating on the idea, and this is another thing that happens with our picks. We make our picks Friday, but we don't have the knowledge of the final practices of the week, which are huge. And so sometimes some player is really big that's out or in that we didn't expect, which would absolutely change our picks if we were making those picks.
That's why I'm not doing well
on a Sunday morning. That's exactly why.
Everyone I miss has been because
I'm operating on the thought that this is going to be Richardson versus Levis.
I think that's a safe bet. And the Titans are coming off a bye. They're going to be healthy. I still think 3 is too much, though. I mean, these are equal teams at best. I mean, the Colts have probably had the better year. I do agree that the Titans' defense is the best of the 4 units, and they are at home. But 3 seems like a lot.
I'm taking points here.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. These are 2 teams that I have no idea what to expect from these teams week to week. There's some good. There's a lot of bad. And so if I'm getting points, that's where I'm going.
Me too.
We already did Houston Texans Patriots in our 6-pack, and Drake May though. Again, we didn't know if it was going to be Drake May. We had a hunch it was going to be Drake May. We do know officially that is Drake May. So that game will be a lot more fun to watch. And actually, the line went from 7 to 6.5. So they think Drake May's worth a half a point, or maybe that's just Patriots fans getting excited and throwing some cash down.
Maybe, and I mean he's an athlete. He can probably make more happen when the plays break down than Brissett.
Here's one we've been highlighting, and it's exciting, and I can't wait to see Jayden Daniels against that Baltimore Ravens defense on the road. We got the league's leading rusher in Derrick Henry, and the Baltimore Ravens at 3-2 that are really starting to play some good football here. The Commanders have been playing good football for a while, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to throw up 40 points on the Ravens. The 4-1 Commanders at the 3-2 Ravens. Baltimore favored by a touchdown.
So here's my take on this one. And I really do believe these are 2 of the top, absolutely 5 offenses in the league, maybe the 2 best. I mean, they're really, really playing well. And I thought Washington's offensive line was going to be a major liability, but they're playing very aggressively. The Ravens' pass defense worries me quite a bit, but Washington's defensive talent worries me quite a bit. Could this be the game that Jayden Daniels is on the sideline holding his helmet for 40 minutes while Henry and Jackson just run up and down the field? Yes, it absolutely could. I also think, hang with me on this one for a second. Harbaugh has been a part of every Lamar Jackson game, and he has seen every defensive coordinator they've faced, how they've strategized to beat his guy. And I'm sure he's taken a lot of notes from that. Like, if I were to play Lamar someday, I would do this, this, and this. And I bet they do this, this, and this against Jayden Daniels. Treat him like teams have treated Lamar with success. All that being said, I like what Washington's doing too much to not take 7 points.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
And here's what's interesting is the over-under is 51.5. So you were talking about how, it might be a grinded out game and the Ravens try to keep the Commanders' offense off the field, which I think is the way they should play it and the way they will try to play this thing. Is the under the play here that finally it's not a game where where the Commanders are lighting up the scoreboard?
Maybe. And the last thing I was going to say was I like the +7 because even if they are kind of grinding things out, you might get within a touchdown on the last 2 drives of the game, whenever, not that it's out of hand or garbage time, but in that neighborhood. But that's not a bad call. I mean, if Baltimore can truly run the ball, which they kind of run the ball on everybody, that clock's going to tick.
And if it's a shootout, that's a good sign for the Commanders as well. So if it does go the over, then that's probably also a good sign. That means the Commanders are scoring on the Ravens, and it's probably within a 7-point game. Who knows? Maybe the Commanders are winning. So yeah, that's a lot of points. I'm going to take those points with the Commanders.
2 MVP candidates, actually.
Yeah, this could also be the game where we're like, okay, there's a rookie quarterback.
Yes, I have that concern too.
The Los Angeles Chargers are at the Denver Broncos in Week 6, Matt. It is the 3-2 Broncos, second place in the AFC West right now against the 2-2 Chargers that are well rested. And the Chargers on the road favored by 3.
I'm a little shocked they're favored. Like, I don't think Denver's as good as their record. And I would think Herbert really enjoyed the bye, as did Alt and Slater and all their injured dudes. But Denver's still a really tough place to play. I'm growing a lot of respect for the Denver defense, particularly Surtain and the pass rush. And Denver's offensive line has been controlling games too. So home dog 3, which I think are kind of equal teams, I'm all over that.
Herbert's still limited in practice, so he's not 100%.
Oh, wow. He never will be then.
Yeah. I like the points, home dog points. Another interesting angle here is that it's the lowest over-under on the week.
Okay.
And
2 good defenses.
Harbaugh versus Peyton. Going back to what was the gate, the bounty gate stuff with the Niners versus the Saints back in the day.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
So this is an old rivalry of coaches too that play some especially Harbaugh, some old school football. So yeah, this is a fun game here in a division rival. So, but yeah, home dog, give me the points here with, the way both of these teams are playing. I think it's one of those where you just got to take the points.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Denver's not an easy place to play.
All right, next we'll talk Lions, Cowboys. We've got the Bengals, Giants, Falcons, Panthers in the South, and a Monday nighter, an interesting Monday nighter with the Jets making a change up top at head coach and offensive coordinator, taking on division rival Buffalo Bills for the piece of the AFC East. All that coming up next. The next segment of Peacock and Williamson, sponsored by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. NFL fans can start right now with a big return on FanDuel and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. So $200 extra to play with and bet on all of these weekly lines. And by the way, all of the lines we're mentioning here come from our friends at FanDuel.com. And by the way, when you're watching these games and you're in the middle of the Sunday slate and you want to check out some stats, live play-by-play, and so much more, you can find all of that information on the same page that you can place your bets at FanDuel.com. So go to FanDuel.com right now or download the app and get America's #1 sportsbook and get $200 free to play with in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. All right, here we go. Let's finish up our picks for week 6 of the NFL schedule. And it is the Detroit Lions Sunday afternoon at the Dallas Cowboys. Detroit on the road favored by 3 points.
Okay, should have said this to end that last segment. I feel really good about that Denver +3 pick, and I feel really good about Detroit -3 too. I mean, so much better on both lines of scrimmage. I was shocked my Steelers couldn't control a really beat up Cowboys defensive line better than they did, but I think the Lions absolutely will. They're coming off a bye. I just think the Lions are 2 tiers ahead of where Dallas is at right now.
This is definitely one of those money line bets. Just go. Well, I don't know. So home dog here with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna bounce the other way for a second. So home dog here for the Dallas Cowboys. And they're a team, the Lions are a team that has, while they're a better team, I think, than the Dallas Cowboys, they haven't looked, except for maybe 1 week, like, okay, here's that NFC championship team, right? And the Cowboys definitely haven't looked great, but they've also not been a disaster, even though there's been some parts of their teams that have been a disaster. So I don't think I would fault you if you said, this is the Dallas Cowboys game. I'm gonna go money line Dallas Cowboys. And I'm gonna take the Cowboys, or I'm gonna take them and get 3 points. But I'm with you, Matt, on this one. I got to take the Lions because the Lions running game versus the Dallas Cowboys run defense is where I draw the line in this one. And so give me the Detroit Lions.
I 100% agree.
One team's awesome at run the ball. One team can't stop the run. How are you gonna win that game?
It's been better lately for Dallas, but they've been selling out like crazy. And you can do that against Pittsburgh and the Giants. I don't think you can do that against the Lions.
And then it's like, and then Goff went 18 for 18 last time, didn't he?
Yes. Right.
And well rested. A lot of things point to the Dallas or to the Detroit Lions here. So 3 points is not going to scare me off the Lions there. They should go win this football game on the road. The Atlanta Falcons are at the Carolina Panthers. And it's the 3-2 Falcons. Speaking of quarterbacks that are red hot, we've got Kirk Cousins coming off a 500-yarder. The Falcons are favored by 6 on the road at the Panthers.
It's another one I feel good about. I'm taking Atlanta here. I think Carolina's defense is hideous, and the offense is fine. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's an even fight. Falcons D versus Panthers O, and the other side of the ball is not a fair fight at all. Guys like Mooney are coming on strong, and I know he's got a little bit of an injury. Bijan's got a little bit of an injury, but what's their answer for London? And Pitts actually showed up a little bit lately. Cousins is on fire. Give me the Falcons here, and their O-line's legit.
I will say I don't like the Bijan trend. He's going the opposite direction. He was fine Wednesday, then limited Thursday. So
this might be a good week to sit him
about the hamstring, and they don't need Bijan to be 100% Bijan to win this game, or maybe even play at all.
I think I'd sit him. Yeah, Algier's good.
Going back here to the Atlanta Falcons. So the Atlanta Falcons started slow. They lost to the Steelers week 1. Then they beat the Eagles by 1, 22-21. Then they lost to the Chiefs. So, tough opponents there to start the year.
Close game, though.
Yeah. And then the Saints, they won, but by 2, division rival, 26-24. And then the Bucks, again, that was within 1 score. So they haven't won a single game by what this line is right now.
That's what you're saying.
And they're on the road at the Red Rifle-led Panthers, who have looked more competent. I don't want to go full upset special here, but I think I might take the points here. And I'm going to play this game that I preach it all the time, so I've got to back it up here. And by the way, I would not bet on this game because I don't feel super confident.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the points on the home dog Panthers because the NFL is chaos, and when you see a team go crazy and put up in a quarterback throw for 500 yards, he's going to come back down to earth the next week.
Crash back to earth.
Yes, it's just the NFL is chaos. Don't expect what you saw last week to continue in that fashion, especially when it's a blip and an outlier like what Kirk did. And so I think you got to pay for that with what we've seen recently from the Falcons. So give me the division rival, right? Give me the Carolina Panthers and getting 6. And I might even wait until Sunday to see if you can get an extra point and get 7 points on that one.
I need to. You're better at subscribing to the NFL is chaos theory truth than I am, and like Carolina could win this game. I mean, that's just how the league is,
And I hate that I hadn't taken more home dogs because it's the best bet going is that home underdog, even when you think that the home team is worse.
Good point.
Cincinnati Bengals are here. Speaking of home dogs, we got the New York Giants that are home dogs against the Cincinnati Bengals. 1-4 Bengals visiting the 2-3 Giants, and it is the Bengals on the road favored by 3.5 points.
I like the Giants to win this game. I know that's kind of bonkers, and Burrow's really, really playing well. But the Giants have 2 young corners that are playing pretty well. Their defensive line has been unbelievable, and I think they'll hit Burrow. I don't think the Bengals have a great running game, but the other side of the ball is what is my concern. Bengals defense to me is quite bad, and it does. We're not going to get neighbors. That worries me. There's no question. But I think the Giants keep this close. I'll gladly take the 3.5, and I think I'm going to say the upset special, and they sneak this one out. And if so, Cincy would be in big trouble if they lose this game.
Home dogs, 3.5 points. Man, the Giants. I don't want to put my money on the Giants, but I got to make a pick here. So 3.5 points. I'm going to take the points in the home dog here in this one. Devin Singletary trending in the right direction, according to Brian Daboll. Malik Neighbors is out, so I don't love that for the offense. But again, like it's kind of bad versus bad with the Giants offense against the Bengals defense, and then good versus good with that, especially that Giants front and how good they're playing up front against Burrow, who's been playing a super efficient ball, and an explosive Bengals offense. So good versus good and bad versus bad. What does that tell you? It tells you to take the points with the home team, I think. If it all evens out, I don't know. I'm not super confident. I'm not as confident as you are in that one.
Okay.
The New York Jets are hosting the Buffalo Bills. We got a new interim head coach in Jeff Ulbrich. We got a new play caller in Todd Downing for Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets offense, and they are hosting the 3-2 Bills in a massive game for the Jets here to tie things up in the AFC East. And the Buffalo Bills are stumbling a little bit here the last few weeks. Still, though, favored by 2.5 on the road. We're going to believe in the interim bump for the Jets in this one, Matt.
Well, my prediction that Devontae Adams is going to play in this game isn't looking so great. I think not looking so great. So maybe he'll get on the plane back with the Steelers from Vegas. Well,
I think maybe Devontae, he wants to be a front runner. He's like, well, hold a second. If the Bills have a 2-game lead on the Jets, maybe I'll go to Buffalo instead of New York. So he just wants to wait on this game to find out which team he wants that on going to.
I don't know if I'm going to say it's a head coach bump or any of that change, but it's a bet on the Jets defense. I think the Jets defense is in contention for best in the league. I don't like where Buffalo is at all offensively these past couple games. Like my 18-year-old son's like, Dad, should I bench Josh Allen in fantasy? I'm like, wow, maybe. Who else you got? Like it's getting to that point, and they don't have anyone beating man coverage right now. So I think this is a low-scoring game, and that's the way the Jets want to play it. And I think they win in the end. I mean, if you're going to give me some points, I'll take it. So I think they can sneak this one out, and they might be a little harder to prepare for just with a new offensive coordinator.
God, I hate this one too.
I'm not big on it. All right.
I believe in the interim bump. They for a week. Like I would like to see the numbers on it. Maybe we're wrong, and we just remember the ones where they win. But I feel like it's
and somebody pointed out Dan Campbell. I remember you responded to it. Dan Campbell was a good interim that turned into a good one. I'm glad we brought that up.
About this. We're like, man, this is bad for Ulbrich, because when you get the interim treatment, how does that work out for your career? And one of our listeners mentioned that Dan Campbell was an interim head coach at one point, and
that was good.
Turned out to be a nice head coach and getting a long-term shot at being a head coach. You're 2.5 points. I'm take the Buffalo Bills. I'm not gonna buy into the interim bump, even though I feel like I should. I'm not going to.
Okay. I think it gives you a little jolt, at least a little different way of doing things.
Give Matt a chance to come back in our.
There you go.
Here, so
that Monday nighter will put me over.
I believe in Josh Allen, and like this team has played too well at points in the season. You got Cook, you got weapons. The Jets are in shambles. I feel like they're, and maybe
if they lose this one, we might be writing an obituary.
Well, yeah, when it comes to the interim bump, it's like, okay, new voice, but it's like it's still the same guy calling plays on defense, and everyone straightens up their act. Is that the interim bump? And they're like, oh, my job could be on the line. Does Aaron Rodgers come out and have a huge game on Monday Night Football at home because of it? It's just the vibes around it feel weird, like they don't know what's going on, and so that's why I'm not buying the interim bump here in this one. Just feels like organizationally there's not a lot of answers in house, and so anyway, we'll see. But I'm gonna go Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen, don't sit him in your fantasy leagues. He's gonna go crazy this week.
That's quite possible. I'm hoping the Jets get back to running the football and getting Breece Hall the ball. And is it a little bit of organizational change, philosophical change.
By the way, did you see that? Speaking of the Jets and dysfunction, did you see that Hassan Reddick's agents dropped him as a client?
Wow. Maybe he's the problem. Yeah, right.
I mean, it's everywhere with that organization right now. So
That's strange. That whole thing's been weird.
That tells me that they think he should have showed up and taken some sort of deal because he's just losing money. He's lost like $4 or $5 million already.
It's amazing that somebody actually does that. Just turns their nose up at $1 million a week check or whatever.
Gosh, he's holding to his principles. So who knows? We'll see. Maybe Hassan Reddick gets traded and has a new agent to negotiate a new contract for him. But yeah, just weirdness around the New York Jets. I can't bet on that. Give me the Buffalo Bills. All right, there's our picks for week 6 of the NFL season. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in every day, all the everydayers. We love you. We appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and everywhere you get your podcasts. And don't forget, for your second listen, check out any of the other 200 podcasts here on the network. Your team is covered daily at Locked On. Matt and I back Monday to break it all down right here. Peacock and Williamson.